Large crowds, haircuts, birthday parties, jeans, button-down shirts, certain foods, all overwhelming. Sensory processing disorder symptoms that can be so hard on kids. Now, when our kids suffer, we suffer. So you have a child who is easily overwhelmed in large crowds, always touching something, or they don't pick on social cues or understand personal space. Not only can it be frustrating, but absolutely heartbreaking to watch them struggle with stressful sensory situations. Now, there is not a one size fits all for sensory processing challenges, but SPD is a condition that affects how the brain and nervous system process stimuli, and they can affect all five senses: touch, smell, seeing, taste, and hearing. And if your child struggles with SPD, you already know its effects. So in this video, we look at the root causes and a specific test we can use to measure the struggle. And yes, you heard that right. There is a test, and we can use it to quantify it. And this is one of the biggest things we hear with parents coming in with kids with sensory issues, that they're looking for doctors to tell them there is a test, be able to tell how their child is doing. And they're being told there is no test. And they're heartbroken knowing that there's nothing to be done for them. But there is a test, and we can see how it's doing. So who is this video supposed to be made for? It's made for moms and dads who want to dive deeper into how to help a child with sensory struggles. Most likely they tried therapies, they tried diets, and often avoid situations that are difficult altogether or to little to no avail. And you end up avoiding a lot of life because you avoid parties, events, going places, because you're never quite sure when your child is going to have an issue with it. So what you're going to learn here is we're going to walk through the root cause of sensory processing disorders. It starts with the nervous system, very early in development. Plus, like we said before, there's a unique and non-invasive way, a test to measure them neurologically, and we call this an insight scan. But before we go on, I want to ask you, please share this with other moms and parents who need to know this and hear this message. So, finding the root causes of SPD. Now, there are two different kinds of sensory processing challenges: sensory avoiding, they don't want to be touched, things are weird, different clothes, or the sensory seeking. They always need more stimulation, walking on toes, touching everything, into everything. And children can always be be a mix of both of them. Now, to find the root cause of these struggles, you have to go all the way back to your child's development, and it's often before delivery. One of the very first things to happen and develop in utero is the brain and nervous system. So if our mothers are left in a constant state of stress and anxiety, this can greatly affect the developing infant's brain and nervous system. And we always, talk to moms is that, they've all read, most moms all read, what to expect when you're expecting. And we always say, kind of joke that it's a book written by Stephen King, because it's there to scare you of every single thing that can go wrong. And you don't really need to know that as a mom that's pregnant, because it puts you in that state of fear, distress, and anxiety. And whatever you experience, your baby will experience it also. And that affects their brain and nervous system. Now, another trigger in the process is the birth intervention and trauma, which could be forceps, vacuum extraction, induction, C-section, which may all need to do because they're emergency interventions. But this can disrupt the function of the brainstem and upper cervical spinal cord regions, which are the most important areas for processing and integrating sensory information before it reaches the brain. We like to think of the brainstem as the air traffic controller for all your child's 7 senses, where it's responsible for not only organizing and processing the information, but also keeping out unwanted, annoying information. Now, this unwanted, annoying information is known as nociception. It's called bad stimulation. And reason child may be avoiding certain stimulation is to avoid additional noisy and stressful situations they can't yet tolerate. Additionally, they are constantly moving and seeking out physical touch and stimulation. They're doing so in order to bring about proprioception, which is good stimulation, which is the sense of movement. While it may not seem like it, all the movement and touching they're doing is actually calming the brain down. It may be hard to believe that. It's one thing to talk about why this is happening, but more importantly, how do we help it? Now, the nervous system is a two-way street. There's one set of nerves, and it's called the sensory nerves, that send information and report to the brain and brainstem precisely what's going on inside the body, the internal environment, and outside the body, the external environment. Now, the other set of nerves is more what we call motor control nerves. And they send signals out from the brain and spinal cord and tell various parts of the body what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Now, as parents, we measure these systems through the symptoms they produce. But this often doesn't tell us the whole story of what's going on inside the body and within the nervous system. This is why taking a test to look under the surface and under the hood is so incredibly important with children who struggle with SPD. The best part is that this test can be done very easily and comfortably. This test, which is conducted in our office, consists of 3 different neurosensory scans from a technology called the Insight scans. Now, the Insight scans are all about finding, tracking, and understanding if subluxation, which is stress stuck on the nerve, and dysautonomia, which is dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system, are present. And if they are, we need to know 2 things about them. 1, how significant or severe it is. Is it mild, moderate, severe, or intensive? And number 2, where within the neurospinal system are these primarily located? So we can track and target them. And I want you to think of the neurospinal system as a fuse box in your home. Now, while our nervous system is quite a bit more intricate and complex in that, many of our sensory and motor nerves function similarly. In our office, we use a neurofuse chart to help us better track and locate where and what kind of trouble the subluxation dysautonomia may be causing. So making sure the system is working at full function is simply the most important exam and assessment any pediatric provider could ever perform for your child. Put simply, if the nervous system isn't calm on the inside, sensory systems will show on the outside. Now, in our office, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to do these scans. They're safe, they're non-invasive. They can find, measure, and locate subluxation in your child's autonomic nervous system. And these scans can help us put together a customized care plan that fits your child's exact needs and start to restore function and balance to the autonomic nervous system to help calm them down and help them thrive in life. And this is usually the missing link to help your child with their sensory processing challenges. Now, to schedule your child's neurological insight scans, visit the link in our bio. Thanks for watching.